Who said you can't have your cake and eat it too, even if you're eating a whole food, plant-based, healthy diet? We have some amazing guilt-free dessert ideas for you today. Hi, I'm Debbie Sadie Fi, and welcome to day 19 of our Proven Cancer Strategies Revealed 90 Days to Cancer Resilience series. And today we are in the kitchen making some sweet treats. I'm so excited. Now, on my own journey, how I started on the plant-based journey was actually to cut out all the processed sugar in my diet. And since I've cut that out, these sweet treats are not as tantalizing to me as they used to be. Boy, at one point I could knock back a whole dozen donuts on my own. But now I wouldn't even eat a donut. And that's not because of the fact that they're not healthy. It's just too much sugar for me. So the first thing I'd urge you is to cut back and look at your sugar. Get rid of the processed sugar. Your taste buds are going to change a little bit. And then you won't need as much of the sugar to get your sugar fix or your satisfaction, your sweet fix, I'll say, not sugar, but sweet. So we are using whole food products to make our sweet treats. I'm going to start off with something that you'll probably say, oh, give me a break, but fresh fruit is a really nice way to get some sweet in your diet. Here's some grapes that I bought. These are organic grapes. And when I see them and they're fresh, and the taste test for us is if when you squeeze them, they're hard as a rock. And boy, when you bite into them, you just get a burst of sugar. So these grapes that are right now in our store are amazing. So that's one thing. And just keep some fresh fruit, either cut up or washed, available for you. You can keep it on the counter and just have it whenever you want to. And that's the beauty of it, is that if you want a snack, go ahead and have a snack. And it's okay. Stay away from all those processed sugary foods. Now, another way that you can get some easy sweet treats without having a lot of fuss about it is very simple. Dates. So this is a medjool date. It's a fresh one that I bought at the store. Once you buy it in a package, please keep it in the refrigerator because they can get moldy. And when you open up your date, like I'm going to do now, this one is very fresh. It's nice and soft, and it has a pit in it. So I'm going to take the pit out. You can just eat this like it on its own, and it literally is very sweet, like candy. And you probably only need one, maybe two to satisfy you. If you want to make an even more delectable treat, I have some pecans here. I'm just going to add a couple of pecans to this, put them inside, squish it back together. And now I have a nut date treat that's just like a chocolate candy. And you could, if you wanted, dip it in a nice healthy chocolate. Now, if you want to know how to make healthy chocolate, I have a YouTube video just on that topic. So you can get how to make chocolate and dip the chocolate. But here is another easy way to make a really nice treat for yourself. Now my hands are sticky from the date, but that's good. Now the other thing people will say, there's so much sugar in dates, isn't it high on the glycemic index? And the answer is no, because dates are, first of all, better than sugar. They are high in fiber, and they're also high in vitamins and minerals. What happens is it takes a while for our body to digest and process the date. The blood sugar rises slowly because it takes time for that glucose that's in the dates to get into your system. What a great substitute for processed sugar. Other things that you could do are energy balls. you can make an amazing chocolate chip cookie that's all plant-based, all whole foods, no flour, no gluten. If you're interested in that, you can check out my video on how to make chocolate chip cookies that are just as good as the ones that you're going to get from the store or better. And also, how about brownie? You can better than fudge brownie that tastes amazing and is made from whole food products, lots of fiber, lots of nutrients. And you know what? Chocolate is actually a superfood. It is a really high antioxidant. So if you like your chocolate, you can get your chocolate fix without buying the milk chocolate in the store that is so full of such things like fillers and dairy that you do not need to have. So you do not have to give up your chocolate just to go whole food plant-based. Now, what we're going to make today in the kitchen, I'm really excited for this, is a carrot cake. We're going to make a frosting that we can put on it, and we're going to make the actual carrot cake. We're going to start by making the frosting. And for the frosting, we are using our Vitamix. And I've got my Vitamix here, and I have my tamper. You're going to need the tamper because the frosting is thick and it doesn't blend as easily as something that's got a little more liquid in it. We are starting with a cup of nuts. These are cashews that I have soaked overnight. They're all soft and I've rinsed them off. One of the reasons you soak your cashews is to get them soft, because if you don't, then they're going to be grainy and you don't want a grainy icing. But the other reason is cashews actually are not a bad way to show it. This is the soaking water that I have left over, and you see how cloudy it is. There are enzyme inhibitors in there that are like an anti-nutrient. They actually will take the nutrients out. Now, the enzyme inhibitors are on nuts and seeds, so you should be soaking your nuts and seeds. I soak them and then I make them crunchy again by dehydrating them. If you don't have a dehydrator, what you can do to get them back to being their natural crunchiness is to put them on a tea towel, on a tray. I used a baking sheet and just let them air dry. Now, it takes a while. I did it in my house and I actually did it on almonds. And so I have almonds that are basically back to their natural texture and chewiness, but it took me about 4 days for it to get there. So you have to be patient. So when you buy your nuts, soak them and then dry them out, or put them in your dehydrator if you have a dehydrator. All right. So here's my cashews. I am going to add some coconut oil. So I took the coconut oil, I've heated it so that it became liquid. And then what's going to happen is when I'm going to put it in the freezer for about 45 minutes to solidify, and then you're going to have a firmer consistency for your icing because the coconut oil is going to go back to its solid state. I am also adding some coconut butter, and coconut butter is basically just pureed coconut. So you can make your own coconut butter by pureeing the coconut. And I have done that. Basically, all I did is put it in the blender and keep pureeing it, keep blending. And it takes a lot of patience to do that, at least in my eyes. And it takes a while and you need to stop and let the blender cool and then keep going. I would say it took me about 20 minutes or more to make my coconut butter. So I actually buy it in the store. I buy a coconut butter here in the store. A little easier, and all that's in this is pureed coconut. So that makes it a lot easier. I'm also going to add some zucchini, and zucchini just gives it a little more without adding any extra calories. Zucchini is a very versatile vegetable. because it is got very little taste. Pro tip, if you're in an area like I am and they're saying to use a young coconut in what you're making, you can substitute half a cup of zucchini and a couple tablespoons of the coconut butter for a young coconut. So it has a lot of versatility. And I'm also going to add some maple syrup for some flavoring. I've got lemon juice here. Now you can also add some lemon zest if you would like. That will work too. And I have some water. So I'm going to add a little bit of water, and then later on, if it needs, I'll add some more water. And I don't want to forget my vanilla. Now I'm going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla. All we're going to do is blend this up now. And I'm going to say, just so you're aware, that you definitely have to work at this one when you're blending, because it's got very little liquid in it, and it's going to be quite thick. So I'm going to actually just take the lid off right now, because I'm going to add in I think this is the first time we've really had to use this plunger thing. And so this tamper is meant to be used through the top of the lid, and it has a stopper here so that it doesn't hit the blades. Please do not use your spatula or anything else, or the back of a wooden spoon, because the danger is you'll end up hitting the blades, and that's not good. All right, ready to go? I think that's pretty good. You may need to do a little bit more. You can see it's pretty thick. It has a beautiful lemony taste to it. What I did is put this, make sure it's in a nice consistency, then put it into a container and into the freezer. You just need to put it in the freezer for about 45 minutes, and then it will thicken up the texture. So you can see it'll make some stiff peaks and will be less runny than the other one. It's not frozen, it's cooled off. Now that coconut oil that we used is now a solid, and so it gives it more body. So this is going to be our icing. Yeah. Let's turn our attention to making the actual carrot cake now. Woohoo! For the carrot cake, we are going to use our food processor. All right, let me bring in the food processor. Yeah. Put it here. Get it fired up. All right, we're ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have some oatmeal here. We're going to put the oatmeal in and pulverize it in the food processor before we put everything else in. So we're just going to let this run. You can also pulverize it and make like oat flour in your Vitamix as well. So making it into a very coarse oat flour. So you can do it as much as you want. But I'm good with this. It's a medium to fine grain. You could go a little longer. Put in our other ingredients. Obviously carrots, right? So we're going to add in some carrots. I just chopped these up. I didn't need to shred them. I just chopped them up. The food processor will make sure they get chopped up. I have a half a cup of pecans. You could use walnuts as well. Either one will work. And again, you should soak and sprout them and then dry them so that they do not have the enzyme inhibitors. When I bring my walnuts or any of my nuts in, when I purchase them, I do all that sprouting ahead of time so they're ready to go. And I'm going to add in a couple of dates for some flavor. Gonna cut them up, and a lot of times I'll soak my dates, but these ones are so fresh and ready to go. I'm not soaking them. I've got some coconut here, so you can use shredded coconut. these are coconut flakes, and I have some spices here. So some cinnamon, some nutmeg. You could put ginger in here. I'm going to add that in. And one of the other things that you can do is add in a little bit of a adaptogen or medicinal mushroom. So I have a shilajit here that I've just put in about a teaspoon, or not quite a teaspoon. So you can add in some other nutrient superfood type of boost to them as well. And nobody will even know the difference. So I'm just going to add in a bit of vanilla. And blend this up. Food process it. All right. Here we go. Let me see how this looks. Just going to taste a little bit of it. Needs a little more blending. Add another date to this.
Yeah. If you had to describe that the level of coarseness, what would you say?
You want it so it will stick together.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's better because now it sticks together like a ball. All right, so now we have our carrot cake. You can see that it's binding together on its own, and the carrots give it the moisture. You can adjust the dates for your taste, but before you do, make sure you watch because we're going to add some raisins. So let's move this food processor out of the way. We have our date mixture here. We're going to just move this out of the way so you can see. I need a long counter instead of long this way instead of this way. All right. Ready to go. I have my bowl that I'm going to put my date mixture in. All right. Or sorry, my carrot cake mixture. And look, it's just going to come right out pretty much. I've soaked these raisins just a little bit in water, and then I can add them in. I don't buy a lot of raisins. My kids don't eat them a lot, but this is another good snack is raisins. But in the store when I was buying these, they had a couple different types. They had golden raisins and they had sultana raisins. And so I started looking at them, and I think this is just to say you should check your ingredients. And what I found is that the golden raisins are dried in sulfur dioxide. All right, so not really happy to do that. Here's our chemicals coming in. And the sultana raisins are dried, they go in some oil and stuff. So that was a better choice. But then I found raisins that are actually California sun-dried raisins that only have raisins, and that's it. There's no other things. So the only thing to say is it's really important to check your labels out and make sure you know what you're getting. Because I'm so glad that I didn't get the golden raisins, even though they looked good for this recipe. Of course, I picked the sun-dried California raisins that are only raisins. All right, so you incorporate the raisins in by hand here. So you could put this on a baking tray and put it all on and even it out and put your frosting on. But I'm going to make a grab and go. So I'm bringing out some mason jars here. And so these are 1 cup or 250 ounces. I have bought them before like this. They're a little stubbier, which is perfect. But I haven't found these ones lately. Oh, what the I guess they switched it to this way, a little bit taller. But here's what you can do. And you could do this however you want, but I'm going to add some and press it down to my carrot cake I'm going to add some, press it down. Then I can sneak in a little layer of frosting here. Yum, make a mess. So the beauty of the taller ones is that you can do more layers, I think. So I've got a little layer here. Then I can add more of my carrot cake and hopefully not make a big mess here. All right. And then add some more frosting to the top. Oops. Use this for the end result. I've got my carrot cake. I can wipe off the mess that I made around the sides so it looks nice. Make it look good. Get rid of that. Add a pecan to it. Put a little bit of cinnamon on it. Shake a shaker of cinnamon. I don't want to get too much cinnamon. I'm feeling like I'm just going to shake it and I'm going to get a big dump. So I'm trying not to. Oh yeah, I get it. It's coming up. Okay. There. Ooh. And there is my grab and go. So you can put these in the fridge and do a grab and go. And if you would like, this could be maybe less frosting or more frosting. This could actually be an alternative for your breakfast as well as a snack.
Oh, cool.
All right. And there you have it. Keep these in the fridge and just, grab and go as you're looking for a snack. Or like I said, this would be a good alternative for your breakfast if you're tired of plain oatmeal.
How about a taste test?
I knew you were going to say that. I don't mind a taste test. I'll get the layer with the cake as well as the frosting. Too bad you're not here. Oh, very good. And I want to also just say, before I ask if there's any questions, that this inspiration came from Pachavega Living Foods Education. Pachavega is where I did my raw food chef course. And if you are interested in becoming a raw food chef or learning all about the amazing foods that you can make in the raw food world, like stuff like this, you can check out Danielle Arsenault and Pachavega. All right. So now the next thing is the questions.
When you were using zucchini, was that peeled?
Oh, good thing. I should have mentioned that. Yes, absolutely. You should take the peel off. Otherwise, you'll have a green. If you're looking for a green icing, leave the peel on.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Because when you mentioned carrot cake at the beginning, I was thinking, how is this going to be a freestanding cake? I was wondering when you said you were going to make a carrot cake, I think of usually carrot cakes as cooked in a loaf pan.
Yeah.
So they're standing, but this makes perfect sense. This is a nice dessert
and you
to
could
go.
make loaves. You could put it in a loaf pan because it does stay together. Yep. So you could put it in a loaf pan and push it down and put the frosting on top. And then you could make carrot cake squares. But I like this idea, and you just eat it with a spoon.
I do too. It's more festive.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great way to do it. I just wrap it up here by letting everybody know that there are amazing ways to make sweet treats and snacks that are going to satisfy you without having processed sugar in them, and whole food with nutrients and won't spike your blood sugar. Great for our cancer resilience. We will be back tomorrow with more as we journey down our 90 days to cancer resilience. So we will see you tomorrow. Thanks for